What's up, Tiny Fam? Arshia and Vavi here, also known as Vavi. I also have here with me Ernest today. Hey, Ernest.
Hey everyone, it's Ernest. I'm the producer here at Tiny Colony. Yeah, I'm here with Vabi, give you guys a little update and a little preview of what's to come.
Totally. We wanted to kind of get together, Ernest and I, and first off do a playthrough of the MVP with you guys, showcase one of the built-out colonies that we have, and also share some cool news that we have coming up and some of the stuff that we've been working on in the background for the past couple of months. To begin with, I'd love to say thank you to all the playtesters that have submitted over 200 bug reports. And, Ernest, you can speak about your process of going through those, but from my end, it's all been incredibly helpful. All notes that we've taken into consideration, but Ernest has gone through all of them one by one, so I'll let him elaborate.
Yeah, the feedback has been amazing. I can definitely say there's no way we would have been able to identify and fix that many bugs if we were just doing our own internal QA. So the fact that we had such a strong response from the community and such great enthusiasm shows that we're just really appreciative that we have such a strong community to lean on. We've gotten so many suggestions in our Discord server. I'm in the middle of curating them, so I know it feels like a lot of the times your suggestions might feel like it's not being heard. I promise we are paying attention, and in the next couple of weeks we will be releasing sort of like a public forum where you'll be able to upvote the suggestions you like the most, and the ones that do get the most upvotes. We'll have a serious look at whether or not we can actually implement them in the game in the mix in the near future. Yeah,
for sure. Before we get started on showcasing some stuff, I'd like to show you guys the MVP rewards for playtesters. So in order to receive what I'm about to show you, the new bunker skins, as you may know, you will have to have one of your character NFTs in the training room. We'll be announcing a date where we'll be doing a snapshot to make sure that the characters are in the training rooms. And if you have a character in any of your colonies, you will receive a corresponding graded colony. So before I switch over to Miro to show you guys, let's just put a nest hall over here to get this started. All right. Move on over to Miro. So to begin with, here are the cool art that we have for the upgraded colonies. Here's a nest one. So again, if you have a character in the training room at the snapshot date, you will receive this if you have a nest. Here's the samurai one. All of them will be animated, and yes, they'll be also animated in game. We're also working on animating all the backgrounds for the colonies and also all the cells as well. Here's the Viking one. Here we have the Persian colony.
the animations look so sick.
They look so good. Shout out to Boyd, our incredible animator, who has also animated all the explainer videos that you've seen, all the tiny videos, the Solana congestion video, all of that has been done by Boyd. We have the scientist one here, sorcerer, and of course the spirit. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's so great.
All right, let's go back to our MVP and start playing. So here we can see that we have some scraps. We have our nest hall going. Building our nest hall activated our colony, giving us more space to build. Obviously, we need some farms. What I like to do personally is I like to build my farms and mines in their own separate areas. So what I'm gonna do first, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and move this nest hall to the left side. I'm gonna bring a tunnel down just because I'm gonna be building. Eventually, building very straight tunnels is not gonna be the most optimal way to build your colony, because we'll get into talking about base defense, but you're gonna wanna build paths for incoming zombie ant raiders to go through, and they shouldn't be as direct of a source to your supplies. Let's go ahead and we'll build just a little tunnel here, leaving just enough space for our farm here. I'm gonna go ahead and build this over here first, and then I'm gonna move it here. We'll be working on kind of the cell building structure and the build shop and how you can't place it on the back of the build menu. So we're working on that as we speak.
So a lot of polish to come for sure.
Absolutely. We're gonna have a farm. We're gonna go ahead and place our first farmer in here. So now we're gonna wanna build a mine next. So I'm gonna just prepare the colony for that. I'll just go ahead and build a tunnel that way. So once I have enough sugar, I will be building the mine that requires 17 sugar. In the meantime, well, Ernest, would you like to kind of showcase how we get access to the MVP?
Yeah, I think if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Why don't we go back to the mural board real quick?
Absolutely.
Just make sure you have a colony in your wallet and you'll be able to play.
Yeah, all colony holders will be able to play the MVP. And after this, essentially, we'll be working on more features for the game, including base defense, which we'll get into very shortly, and also number of different cells that we are working on, all of them bringing new mechanics into the game. There are over 35 cells that we are currently working on. We're super excited to showcase them. Obviously, there will be batches of them that come out, all of them introducing new game mechanics, some new characters, some new NPCs, some new resources here and there. But yeah, super excited to showcase that. We have 15 sugar at the moment, waiting for 2 more. Shouldn't be
almost there.
Almost there. Shouldn't be too much longer.
I think one thing worth saying is, as you guys might have noticed, but it doesn't cost anything to move your cells around.
Exactly.
And that was a very deliberate choice. But you'll see why later when we start talking more about base defense. But we really wanted to have the users have the freedom to really be able to change their base without being penalized for that. Yeah, and you'll see very shortly why this is going to be really important once zombies start attacking.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and build our mine here. So now, once this is built, we'll assign a little miner over here. In the meantime, if you want to talk about the base defense network.
Yeah, so if you guys have been following closely, you would know our next big feature set we want to implement is the base defense. But I think the best way to kind of picture this in your head is kind of like the traditional tower defense games you used to play, maybe in like Warcraft 3, StarCraft mini games. So the idea really is to create a tunnel system, which would also incorporate, in this case, your cells, right, all your buildings, kind of like a maze. You almost want to build a maze which prolongs the journey towards your resources and your larvae or whatever that the zombie ants might think it's worthwhile stealing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to have a bunch of different cells and traps, some of which we might be able to show you guys a little bit later. But the idea really is to build a labyrinth of traps that hopefully, if you build it correctly, you'll be able to successfully defend your colony. Right?
Absolutely.
And the idea that we're kind of building towards is this going to be some sort of a leaderboard system that we're going to just have kind of incremental waves of zombies that get harder and harder and harder. And we'll be rewarding players that are able to hit certain waves, hit certain milestones. And eventually this will all kind of tie into the story itself and the questing mechanics.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited to start working on quests and all those mechanisms that come with it. You know, there's so many layers to Tiny Colony. This is just very, very early base level kind of mechanics, artwork, just so our community can see what we've been working on. And to be honest, I really like construction and management games, and I've been having tons of fun playing the MVP and knowing what's coming next. I'm just excited to start gaming, you know? I'm excited to kind of start, you know, seeing what other people are building, see what kind of like bugs people find in the later stages of the game development. But yeah,
there's so much. This is so much creativity possible as far as how you would build your base, how you would defend. And when we introduce all these new base defense mechanics, I think you guys will see that there's going to be so many different ways and approaches you can defend your base. You know, you can be very character heavy, right?
For
or you
sure.
can be very trap heavy. You could be playing a war of attrition with these guys, right? There's so many ways you can build up a base, and I'm really excited to see what the meta is going to end up being.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when we have like tournaments and stuff. I wonder what the winning strategy is going to look like.
Yeah, that's going to be so interesting to see.
In the meantime, I just wanted to bring up, we do have some features that are still being worked on actually before the alpha. Obviously, these aren't going to be huge things like a whole new base defense, right? It is worth bringing up, I think. So the first one is going to be XTiny, and this is going to be our placeholder Tiny in-game. It's an off-chain version of Tiny, and it's basically going to be our way of testing the economy. You know, before we're ready to commit to an on-chain resource, we want to make sure we're balanced. You know, we're not blocking you guys in the game at certain points. And so you guys will be seeing this in the next month or so, and we'll be tweaking these numbers quite a lot based off the analytics we get from on playback. And eventually we'll switch over to on-chain Tiny. Yeah, the other thing that's going to happen as well is we'll have a character menu. So the main UI right now, probably beside the hammer in the bottom right corner, we'll have another little button that'll bring up all your characters, and you'll be able to kind of assign them an Overwatch zone in your base, and that'll determine kind of like where they're guarding. And that's going to be really important later for the base defense, as certain characters have certain, I guess, advantages, right? We're also going to incorporate digging with tiny rewards, so you won't just be digging, your tunnels magically appear. We want to make it so that you actually have to physically dig out the tunnels, so that will take time, it will take ants, it will take effort, and you'll also be able to find rewards actually while digging. So it's going to expand the gameplay quite a bit. All right, so as you guys can see, we got a restart button now. That's new. So for those of you who are super far ahead, or if you're stuck in a situation where maybe you have too many ants, please give that a shot, because we really do want to test that button out. And the last thing is just the music selection. We have a lot of really good music in this game. Right now, a lot of our users are forced to just listen to the first track over and over again. So we want to incorporate a media player where you can kind of choose different tracks.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting things coming up, even before base defense. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, with all those expansions, and I think XTiny is very exciting, because we want to make sure that everything is balanced first before we go live with Tiny in the game. We want to make sure that all the mechanisms that we've been talking about for months make sense. Especially, like what Ernest mentioned, the digging mechanic is going to be quite heavy, because when you're going to have to grow a builder ant, then you'll need a builder ant every time you want to build something. And every time you dig out one of these grids, there's a chance that you might be rewarded with something. So those are all elements that we've been working on, and we want to make sure that we test it properly with XTiny before we go live with the real Tiny. All right, I have gone ahead and loaded my personal colony. We can see that all these ants are going to work. All the farmers are going to their farms. Here's all the mines. I have all my storage boxes on the right side here. Everything, everything is upgraded to level 5. Portal cell here, which I can see all of my character NFTs in. I have most of them loaded in. You can see some of them. These guys are slow, but they're getting there. I love this guy. The one with the snot bubble. It's so funny. But yeah, so I've kind of done this layout here to showcase what the base defense would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and go here to Miro. So here is a snapshot of my colony. And these are going to be some of our zombie ant raiders that are going to start coming from Abyss on this side. They'll start approaching from here. They'll try to go inside the door and go in here and try to essentially get to all of your resources in the storage areas. They'll try to get all of your larvae. So obviously the main goal is going to be to stop them from coming in. How do we do that? With base defense mechanisms. So this is a pretty big kind of announcement. We haven't showcased anything about cells, small objects, or any of these objects that you're going to be able to use. Yeah, as you can see here, we're going to have different types of barrels, cannonballs, little ballista machines, blimps that shoot lasers, catapults, pits that you can place. So the way that's going to work, we're going to have a section in the build menu where you can essentially go to base defense mechanisms. And let's say you want to use one of these blimps over here. You just place it here. It's going to start floating. And as the zombie ant raiders approach, it's going to start shooting. And then eventually we're going to have different types of zombie ants. Some of them will have ranged attacks that will try to take this out. All of your base defense mechanisms will have durability/ammo. So let's say this laser blimp here has like 20 lasers in it. And then you'll have to replenish that every time. After a raid, then you can do that using the resources. Here we have some barbed wire that I've placed on here, for example. Let's say we want an acid pit, for example. Let me actually find, here's the acid pit. You would place an acid pit here. It would be like this. And then as they approach, they just drop in and it fills up. And when it's filled up, you have to click on it, empty it for it to be active again. And you can do that mid-raid or after raid, depending on what else is going on. Because sometimes you'll have zombies coming from both directions. Another key element is obviously the fact that you can place your character NFTs in the way of incoming ants. And they will be in kind of like an overwatch zone to begin with, and they will start attacking. You'll just have to watch their health to make sure they don't get to 0. We're going to have a hospital cell where if your character NFTs health gets to 0, you'll have to place them into the hospital for them to heal. You can speed up that process using Tiny. But your character NFTs won't ever die fully. But you might have a period that you can't use them if you're not monitoring their defense. Other base defense elements that you can use, as I mentioned, would be like ballistas. So eventually you can kind of like mount these on top of your colony. They'll start shooting them as they come in. Or alternatively, you can also place them on top of tunnels. So this would start shooting as they approach. We have another like inside tunnel base defense element, which is these like spike traps. So as they arrive, as the zombie ant raiders kind of, let me just grab this guy. So they would come in here, they would try to go towards all your NFTs and all of your resources rather. They would go up, and here they would start getting shot until some of them die, until you run out of ammo, but some of them will pass depending on how fast this shoots. And also you can upgrade the speed and the power, just like how you upgrade the cells. Other elements that we'll have is cells, so base defense cells. So this one's kind of like an acid shower. These are all temp artwork. We're currently working on the actual in-game version. These are just the concept versions. Let's say you would have a cell, you would put it here, for example. The zombie NFT would go through here, it would get showered in acid, die, and some of them would get passed through depending on, again, the supply of your acid, and you could kind of like top that up using your resources. Just looking through, I think, yeah, so we have the blimps, we have things that, long range shooters. Oh, and of course we have this little helicopter that will drop potions. So eventually we're gonna have a alchemy room where you can start building, creating some different potions. So this would be an acid potion, fire potion. And when you drop them onto, let's say this is kind of like a fire potion, you drop it, it would kind of create like the vicinity of fire, like an area of fire that they would have to go through. Maybe the fire lasts like 5 to 10 seconds. These will be kind of active during your gameplay. You'd be monitoring them, making sure they have enough potions. Once we get to higher levels, if you're at like level 5 tech level and you have zombies coming at you constantly, you might have like hundreds of zombies trying to get in. It might get overwhelming at some point, so you'll have to have enough kind of base defense mechanisms and high enough level character NFTs for them to be able to successfully defend your colony. This is something that we've been working on for quite some time, and we're really excited to announce this and showcase it to you guys, but also we're excited to start developing this because we're starting development on this very soon. Once we start kind of having more information, all the concepts for the finalized cells come out, we'll start announcing them. But within the next couple of months, you guys should see a very cool update come to Tiny Colony that would completely elevate the gameplay. And then we'll be getting closer and closer to the final vision. But, we have quite a bit that we want to develop here. As I mentioned, there will be 35 cells. We'll be starting with these 3 base defense mechanisms, these 3 down here, but we'll be expanding to all of these and more. But yeah, Ernest, do you have any thoughts on the base defense?
No, I think you covered it really well, man.
Awesome.
I'm just really excited to play it, to be honest.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's super fun to play. And obviously it's super fun to work on this and like ideate alongside someone like Ernest who has like extensive experience in game production. Ernest, we're very lucky to have you on board.
Oh, I feel lucky to be here, man.
But yeah, ever since Ernest came on board, the complete model of the company has changed. Our game production and game development has elevated to a level that I never thought possible. But we are very lucky to have Ernest on board, and his experience and his ability to run a game development team is incredibly helpful. Now, I want to do a little teaser of something that we haven't talked about in some time. Weapon NFTs. So we've been working on these cool little badges. You guys all have character NFTs and colonies. You know what they look like. Countless hours of artwork have gone into them. And we have kind of showcased how serious we are when it comes to the level of detail and artwork and work that goes into all of our NFTs. So obviously when we talked about weapon NFTs, I couldn't just do like a weapon in an NFT. That's not how we do things around here. What we want to do instead is, as you guys know, we have 45 different types of characters. We have 9 different factions, 5 rarities each. Each character that can be equipped a weapon, which is pretty much all of them, you'll be receiving these weapon NFTs. So right now this is blank, but it's going to look like this. This is what the weapon NFTs will look like. The little in-game character of what the character is, the weapon, and some stats on the bottom right side here. The border will change based on the rarity. So diamond would be legendary, and it would decrease as we go. But I kind of just wanted to showcase the cool artwork that has gone in here. Our amazing artist Sang-min, who's been with us for a couple of months now, has been working on these, and I think with these background designs, he's absolutely killed it. So here we have the nobles. The characters aren't up to date, as you guys know. I think this one's a rare noble NFT, but so this one will just be common NFTs. We have elders, heroes, Vikings, samurai, Persian, creatures, scientists, and sorcerers.
There's so much detail in those backgrounds.
This one's one of my favorites. This is actually the background on my phone right now. Yeah, Sang-min and our entire art team have just been killing it. They've been doing such a good job with all the artwork, and we're actually expanding our art team now because we're making more in-game assets for the future. But yeah, just kind of wanted to do a sneak peek of weapon NFTs to come. No announcement date on these yet. And the only reason that we don't announce these things ahead of time is certainly just because I want to make sure that the artwork is perfect and the list of weapons that go with each character are so well thought out that when we get to integrating all these into the game, they all make sense. And obviously, I appreciate all of your patience. And I know we announced this a while back, but we're just so adamant on having the artwork and the character naming and the layer naming be perfect that we want to make sure that we give you the correct date. Here's a little teaser, announcement date coming soon. Yeah, Ernest, what else did you want to talk about?
I want to touch on questing a little bit. We're not going to get into too much detail. So the quest system, in my eyes, is kind of like the last big piece of the puzzle. We got the construction and management, which we're pretty deep into now. There's the base defense, which to me is kind of like the other half of the game. But what ties it all together is going to be the quest system. And that's going to come after the alpha towards our beta. But the quest system is going to be broken down into 3 different systems. So it'll be daily quests, faction-based quests, and story-based quests. And these will all be kind of connected with the raids. You'll be able to kind of trigger them by either hitting certain milestones in game or manually triggering them to see by push of a button. But the idea really is that each of these different quest modes will, one, obviously give you resources and potential NFTs, but it will also include eventually in-game cinematics, at least for the main storylines. The faction-based quests will also have special rune NFTs, which we'll have to talk about in another time. But there's a lot of exciting things that are still coming up for the game. We'll probably still have even more features, I'd imagine, after we curate all the suggestions from the community. But yeah, I think this is a good spot to kind of end it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that we haven't talked about yet, which is going to be another little teaser, is that we're going to have our Tiny Colony music album, full album coming out on Spotify over the next couple of months. Our composer, Dr. Corpse, has been with us, since the very beginning of Tiny Colony. We've been working on a full 12-track album over the past couple of months, and it's completed. So you guys should expect that in the next couple of months. We'll have a full-on announcement for it, and I think we're very excited to showcase it. A lot of the music is the same music that you hear in-game, but we really wanted to just release that as its own album. And then later down the road, we're gonna have a very limited edition vinyl record collection for the same album that we're super excited about. I'm huge into vinyl, so we really wanted to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that now.
Oh, that's gonna be fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, I think we covered everything here. Ernest and I are gonna try to do more of these as we have more to present. This felt like a good time for us to kind of show everything that we've built throughout the past couple of months for the MVP. We're at MVP build 165 right now, so let's see next time we chat where we're going to be at. But yeah, here's a good place to end it. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Let us know if you like videos like this. Maybe we'll do more of them. Maybe we'll get to a point where we'll do more with the whole team. Maybe we can kind of start covering different things with different people in the team. But yeah, let us know what you think. And we're super excited to continue working on this and continue releasing new builds to you guys. Really appreciate all of you. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.